Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Creamsicle Chronicle podcast. My name is JT Olson, and with me, begrudgingly, my co-host Garrett Ballard. Garrett, I'd ask you how you are, but if you're anything like me, you're still feeling this game on Sunday.
Yeah, it's been a rough week coming off that one. Just a lot of questions, a lot of disappointing revelations, I think, and a lot to talk about. The week, other than that, has been good. I'm excited to do another podcast, but this will be, in comparison to our other ones, a negative podcast on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will not be shining a good light on this at all. We are here to give honest takes and honest analysis. So if you're looking for some feel good stuff that's fake, go somewhere else.
Can I do a couple of real feel goods before we jump into it?
Sure, always. I mean, start off good, then we can go to the.
Obviously, nothing about the Buccaneers because that's a train wreck right now.
There wasn't really, yeah.
But hockey season is back. Basketball season is back. I'm not sure about your Lightning, but my Red Wings have scored points in every game this year, so that's a vibe.
I think the Lightning, have scored a point in every game, and I think Steven Stamkos has nearly scored in every game this year. That guy's on fire. The team sucks right now, but Steven Stamkos is looking as good as ever. So
it feels like he's been there since like 2008.
He has been trucking along. Exactly the year 2008.
Is it really?
That was the year he was drafted.
It just feels like he's always been there.
Yeah, and he's like, I mean, he went through all the injuries, but I mean, last season he put up a career high in points. He's just on the top of his game, like absolute Hall of Famer, one of the best captains in the league. Love the guy.
Gosh, I have missed having a hockey team like that. Oh. It's like I was so blessed growing up. Red Wings made the playoffs for like the first 25 years of my life. And then these last like 6 have just been an absolute dumpster fire. And we're just now starting to be relevant again.
I'm hoping the Lightning can turn it around. It's not looking too hot. They look flat coming out. But
well, I mean, that's what happens when you lose Steve Yzerman. I mean, there's just no replacing him.
I mean, we did lose Steve Yzerman and win back-to-back cups right after. So I don't know. But
I know, but he built that foundation.
No, you're right. You're right.
Crumble. And he's going to build it here in Detroit.
The foundation. Julian Brisebois sprinkled it with his magic and got us to the cup. So,
yep, that's 2 different perspectives. Detroit's perspective, it was all Stevie Y. Everything else was just icing on the cake.
I mean, I will never discredit what Steve did here. It was Stevie did here in Tampa. That guy's an absolute legend. Y'all are going to be so good with him. But also, Brisebois did his thing. So.
Yep, it's kind of like the Dungy effect. You got the team there, you built it all up. Everyone says the Bucs won with his players, and but it's like, hey, couldn't have done it without Stevie Y, and couldn't have done it without John Gruden.
That was a great segue to Buccaneers talk. Wow,
I know. I have a gift like that.
He's good at this, ladies and gentlemen. He is good at this. Okay, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off. This is a bad football team right now. I don't think there's any question about it. They lost in a very disappointing way to a very depleted Steelers team. I know a lot of people are blaming it on Tom Brady going to Robert Kraft's wedding. Sure, you can put some blame on that if you want. I'm not saying completely detract it, but that was far from the main reason why this team lost. I think there were a lot of instances of the game where Brady looked good. There were a lot where he didn't look good, but I don't think I'm going to blame it on him going to a wedding. So
I think everyone looks for answers after a game like this.
You're right.
And it's, Tom Brady went to a wedding. The defense couldn't get a sack on 3rd and long or get a stop, when they needed it. In reality, the defense gave up 20 points.
Right.
One was a field goal
not even
off the crossbar.
Not even 20. 20 correct, but I'd say 17 because one of the field goals was a punt return. That went for 90 yards.
Yeah, defense was great on that series.
Yeah, they were awesome. They held them out of the end zone there. So I attribute 17, and my friend, my roommate, Dimi Capitano, he always says, Warren Sapp used to say, give me 17 from the offense. Give me 17. And that's all we needed to at least tie. Despite the punt return, which the coverage needs to be better. But
even beyond the punt return, I mean, think about that last touchdown where the defense was confused and they had guys going off, and Levante David tried to call a late timeout. Where is Todd Bowles on that play? You can see it's just a cluster. Just stop it.
Was that when Vita Vea got caught?
Yeah, he was running. He wasn't even off the field. People were.
I don't know how you don't. I was like, that's what your timeouts are for. I was like, yeah, you want to save them for like late game to maybe get a play in there, but that's a prime example of this gives them a first down, even if they don't catch that ball. I need to take a timeout and get our guys settled.
Like that's 10 points. I don't even really put on the defense. Yeah. Another 3 was a 55-yard cross ball that bounced off the crossbar. Yep. That was I think it was a career long for Pittsburgh.
It was, yes.
I mean, so you take out those 13 points where, you can't really take them away, but, they were a little bit fluky in their own ways.
In a way, yeah, for sure. But you can't, I don't think you can blame one reason for this loss. I mean, it was all bad. I don't think there was a shred of positive in this game. I do want to just start out right now with talking about, I think, a person getting a ton of the blame, and I think rightfully so, Luke Goedeke was not good. Right? I know you've talked about it a bit on Twitter, and I know you probably disagree with me in a way, and like probably not fully because he was getting destroyed by Cam Hayward, but I know you've gone through and watched the tape again and watched his snaps specifically, so I want you to talk on this a little bit before.
Yeah, because obviously Luke Goedeke, everyone would look to as the weak link on the offense. He's a rookie. He's changed positions, coming from the MAC.
Yeah.
And he had some ugly reps.
Ugly reps, yeah.
I think that 1st and goal on the 3.
It was bad.
He just absolutely whiffed.
It was really bad.
You don't want to lunge. You don't want your upper body to be way out in front of your lower body.
And your head cannot go down.
Yep, because then you're going to land right on your face, and the defensive tackle is going to make a play, which is exactly what happened.
And when it's Cam Hayward, you cannot make mistakes because he's just going to capitalize every time.
Cam Hayward, one of the best in the league. And he's a little bit older now. He's 33. Did you know in the last 5 years he's made 5 Pro Bowls and 3 All-Pros?
Guy's a stud.
Yeah, he's a little bit older, but he's been a late bloomer. These are his best years.
Guy's a stud.
And he absolutely dominated Goedeke on a couple of plays. That first and goal on the 3, and then 2 plays later on 3rd and goal.
Right.
Just absolutely bull rushed him back into Tom Brady, got the sack on that play.
Yep.
Luke Goedeke prevented a touchdown on that drive.
Yes, he did.
And, it's never one guy's fault because, that 2nd down play, Hainsey absolutely missed a cut block that, that could have been a touchdown too. So it's not his fault. But those 2 plays, 1st and goal, 3rd and goal inside the 5, now Goedeke got whooped.
Real quick, correct me if I'm wrong. I think a lot of what you were trying to say about Goedeke is that he's bad or he's been doing bad, but the scheme should be giving him a bit more help. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went back and I watched every play.
Yeah.
71 offensive plays. Do you know how many I would say he lost? He did not have a good rep. After watching the game, how many did you think he really just got beat bad?
I saw your number, so I'm not gonna say it. But wasn't it I might even remember it. You just go ahead.
He got I think absolutely pushed around 7 out of 71.
7. See, I think it was more than that. That all just comes down to what your definition of getting beat is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there were a good number of plays where I saw him getting bullied.
There were. And I think when you play offensive line, anytime you get beat and beat bad, because when he lost ugly.
Yeah.
It stands out, and it feels worse than it is sometimes.
Yeah.
But even more than Goedeke getting beat, Byron Leftwich got Goedeke beat.
Oh my gosh.
Just pure hypothetical. If you had a rookie guard coming from a lower level school, changing positions, how many times would you want him one-on-one with an all-pro defensive tackle protecting top 30? How many reps of that?
We talked about this. I think preseason, we're going to say Gadecki will struggle. You need to help him. I remember us specifically saying you need to put O'Keefe in line next to Donovan Smith and block down, because they all just need to help each other, because that's just not going to work. And here we are.
On that touchdown drive, that's exactly what they did. Hainsey was helping Gadecki consistently on Hayward.
Yep, that's how it goes.
But Leftwich left him on an island all game. 18 times he went against Cam Hayward one-on-one as a pass blocker.
Yep.
No chip, no help from any other offensive lineman, just Gadecki versus Hayward.
And that's not what you want. Like, I'm okay with people being like, Gadecki sucked, because he did. He was bad. But also we need the context. Real quick, just some added context about Gadecki as a whole. I have this pulled up right here. Luke Gadecki is tied for third in the NFL for sacks given up. He has attributed to 11 incompletions, which is the most, and has a 78.2 pass block win rate, which is second worst in the league, and has the most pressures given up. So there needs to be a conversation one way or another about either replacing Luke Gadecki, which I don't think they're going to do, right? Like, there's no way. I really don't think they're going to do that. Since they're not going to do that, they need to help him in the ways we just talked about, in the way you just said Hainsey was helping him out all the time. We need to do better. Byron Leftwich needs to do better. The offensive line coach needs to be able to go to Leftwich and be like, we need to help him, because we can't keep leaving the kid on an island like this. I remember I was talking to him last week against Grady Jarrett, who also beat him a couple times. And I was like, how have you been adjusting? You've faced some pretty good edge rushers. And he said, it's been tough. Like you said, I'm going up against some of the best edge rushers, interior rushers in the league. So it's been a bit of a baptism by fire. This is not a direct quote, just same topic. But he's like, it's hard, but I'm growing. I'm getting better. And I think that will be true, but we cannot leave this kid out to dry anymore, because we've seen what happens, and it's not pretty.
And he's right. I mean, he has seen some of the best defensive tackles this league has to offer. Yeah. Grady Jarrett, Cam Hayward, Chris Jones, Kenny Clark. Those are four of the best. Mm-hmm. And he's going to get Aaron Donald in a couple of weeks. So really, and he's seeing all the league has to offer. Yep. And some of it has been ugly. Some of it's been good. I mean, he's had some reps where he took Cam Hayward 5-6 yards down the field. He pancaked him in this game. But, you know, he had some good reps. Yeah. But, I mean, 70 reps and you lose 7 of them, that's 10%. That's a huge number.
Yep. Luke Gadecki, a big talking point on Bucs Twitter recently. There are people out there calling for him to get cut. Stop. It's a rookie second-round pick who started 5 games in his career, like we said, against some of the best in the league. And he's done well against some of them. He's had good reps against all of them. You need to get a grip about how football teams are ran. I remember, there's a difference between – let's compare Keyshawn Vaughn to this, right? Keyshawn Vaughn's still on this team, right? Is he? I don't even know. He's still.
I believe he is.
He's still on this team. I remember after his rookie season, I was like, I don't think there's any use for Keyshawn Vaughn. Let's cut him. And someone said, that's not how football teams are run. And he's right. That's a very correct statement. But when a player isn't contributing in any facet of the game, you can let him go and you can find a replacement who can do his job. And then you have Luke Gadecki, similar situation, young, day 2 pick, but is starting on an offensive line that was heralded as one of the best last year in the league. You need to give him time to grow. You need to let him mold into the player that he wants. Mm-hmm. He's, like you said, from the MAC, played tackle. There's just a lot different right now that he's still adjusting to. And the growth period is now, and it's not pretty. But all we can hope is that he takes a step forward as the season goes forward. Got to address this. There was a report coming out that the Buccaneers are hoping to get Ryan Jensen back by November, was it?
Mm-hmm.
That would be huge. I mean, that gives you the possibility, if Gadecki's still struggling, you shift Hainsey to guard. Because, I mean, Ryan Jensen just makes this offensive line, exponentially better. Like it's not even a little bit. It's so much better. That guy's one of the best centers in the league. But until then, you need to figure out how to help Gadecki. Stop with the cut him talk. He was bad. We move on. There are so many bad things about this game. You can't harp on one, like again with the Brady stuff. The people that are only saying it was Brady, stop. People that are only saying it's Gadecki's fault, stop. It was everything.
And even if Jensen comes back, I mean, this whole interior has struggled. Hainsey's been bad at times. I didn't do a deep dive on him, but just watching him next to Gadecki, he had his fair share of beats too.
He's been better than Gadecki. Like
I think he just does a different role than Gadecki because Chris Jones doesn't typically line up directly over him.
No, but
he's not left on the island as often. He's more.
You're right. Centers rarely are, unless you're facing like a 3-4 with just a head up nose tackle. But
they're a different skill set. I mean, Gadecki's more that get out in space, get on the second level, really good with the poles, more of an athlete. And really, those two together have to be better because even looking at a double team, it's just basic stuff. They're not close together on a double team, and Cam Hayward's ripping right through them.
Right. I do like what you were saying. Gadecki's like a get out in space kind of guy. Or were we saying that about Hainsey?
No, Gadecki.
Okay, good. I was like, wait. But Gadecki's definitely get out in space, like up on the second level kind of guy. And I am a bit. This just draws me back to the scheme, the offensive scheme. I was talking about it the very closing of last week's show. We need to see some improvement from Byron Leftwich in terms of managing this game, becoming less predictable, because at the beginning of the Falcons game, it was good. Tailed off. I was like, hopefully that showed him. It didn't. I think I was on Twitter, JC Allen, a Pewter Report, recorded every first down run that we did. And I think, how many offensive snaps were there?
71.
I think there were 14 first down runs. I can't remember the exact number. I think it was like 3-4 of them went for more than 3 yards, I think. So you're talking well over half of your first down runs are going for under 3 yards, some of them for negative yards, a very substantial number for no gain. Byron Leftwich, I am at wit's end with, I think, is a way to put it. I think he needs to go.
Yeah, I'm 100% out on Byron Leftwich, and I don't think he can bring me back.
Yeah.
It's just, I have no idea what he's trying to do. Because you mentioned Gadecki, he's more of a get out in space guy. So is Shaq Mason. Shaq Mason's really good at space. He's not just a powerhouse guard.
Yeah, I totally forgot my point. You continue because you're going to say it.
Not only is Leftwich running consistently, but he's trying to run between the tackles and like where this power offensive line.
Yeah.
That's not what this line is built to do. I mean, when you assemble this, that's not the vision you bring these guys in for, to try and out-muscle Cam Hayward or Aaron Donald. That's not how these guys play. That's not who they are.
You see these moves being made, and you're like, oh, maybe they're going to implement some wide zone stuff, some more innovative running scheme. Nope. ISO and what's the oh my gosh, the other one up the middle. I can't remember the name of it.
There's so many. It feels like he's running 8 a game. Slam, dive.
Yeah, just all
fullback draw. It just feels like everything you wouldn't want to do. He's doing
literally. You're right. You're very correct. I was completely lost my train of thought, but that is what I was going to say. It's just, I mean, not even. Sorry, I'm looking something up. Even ignoring the scheme stuff, like the play calling's still bad. Like even if we were set for this type of offense, it's still poor. It's back to its predictable ways. They need to get Mike Evans the ball. Like, holy crap, man, that was crazy. It's infuriating. It is truly, truly frustrating to see this potentially great offense just handicap themselves.
And it's illogical. Not only is it bad and predictable, it's illogical. Mm-hmm. Like 3rd and goal, hey, let's run behind our rookie with 5 starts, as opposed to Tristan Wirfs and Shaq makes him. Like, you brought these guys in to be the foundation of your line, and you're running away from them at the strength of their defense.
And the issue is, I'm looking at it literally right now. Evan Winter, former Bucs Report writer, now with, I think it's A to Z Sports.
That's right.
Yep. Great guy. Video right here says, in press conferences, Byron Leftwich was asked why he ran behind Luke Gadecki, who was one-on-one with Cam Hayward, instead of Shaq Mason and Tristan Wirfs. And then Leftwich straight up said that didn't happen. And there's a clip attached of it happening. It makes no sense. Like, yeah, man, last year Ali Marpet was right there. This ain't Ali Marpet, man. You got to switch it up. You got to change that playbook. You got to do some work. You got to watch the tape and adjust. And you haven't done that at any stage of the season.
I am so tired of listening to Byron Leftwich talk.
It's
I was listening to that press conference, and shout out to JC Allen, another alumni of Bucs Report. Man, talented group over here.
Yes.
But every answer, it just felt fake and deflective. Why did you do this? I'm just trying to do what's best for the team. We just try and put our guys in the right position. Okay, explain it to me. It's complicated. You wouldn't understand. It's just everything is like there's no substance there and there's no logic there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. Probably JC Allen asked if he would provide any sort of reasoning behind the 3rd-and-1 run towards Cam Hayward in the fourth quarter, and he didn't give any reasoning. He was like, I'm not going to answer. Like, come on, man.
And it's basic stuff. I mean, you got one play to get a yard. Where do you want to run? Behind your all-pros or behind your rookie?
Literally. You don't need to be a football genius to see that was a bad idea. Like, anyone could have been there and been like, oh, run to the right. Yeah, cool. You probably convert if Lenny doesn't tiptoe. But
And if there were any kind of like thought process or transparency there, it's like, oh, we wanted to shift and make it feel like we were going to run to the right. It felt like it was obvious, and we were going to try and put them on there 20 times a day. That was the thought process. It's a bad thought process, but there's something there.
Very bad thought process. I could talk for a long time about why I think Byron Leftwich is bad, I think he's been bad for a couple years now. I think we were blinded to it. I think a lot of people were because we were winning a lot. But now that we're really not winning as much and there's a lot of disappointment from the offense, people are starting to realize that this is not how this offense should be run. Do you have anything else you want to say about Byron Leftwich? I mean, before I shift the topic, I could say a lot.
Son, that's what I'll say.
He's got to go.
And we haven't even talked about the lack of Mike Evans or, this has all just been run centric. There's so many things we could continue to talk about.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about the Mike Evans thing because there's an answer. Get him the ball. That's all you got to do. Like, that's the best offensive player on the field right now. Like, I would take him over Tom Brady if we had to pick one or the other. He needs the ball. That guy is the dude. He needs the ball. But I want to shift to the defense. Another guy I've been very critical of, specifically Devin White. I'm still not seeing it. I mean, we were talking about it. We were like, you said he's improved a little bit. I mean, he's probably improved. I see the same player I saw at LSU. The same player.
Can I go back to those comments for a second?
Of course.
Devin White, I feel like sometimes he has improved because I think this year we've seen him make plays that younger Devin White wouldn't have made, being in position.
You're definitely right.
But when he has plays like what we saw on that first touchdown, it doesn't matter. You can't have, there's improvement here, and then just a total, absolute bedwetting. That lack of consistency makes him not a great player. It's the Jameis Winston effect.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, everyone knows that Devin White was the best defensive player on the field during our Super Bowl run in 2020. That player is no longer here. That player, I don't think will ever come back. This is a guy that I'm like, he's going to want a big contract, and I hope to God that we do not give it to him. let him walk if he's not going to take a pay cut to stay here, a big one. Because if you have a linebacker who can't cover in 2022 in the NFL, he's useless.
And I think Todd Bowles is unhappy with him because Todd Bowles made the comment that some guys are living off their Super Bowl and they're living in a fantasy land. And I think Devin White is the primary offender.
I had someone message me, Mike Harinchin from Blue Chip Scouting, great guy. Shout out Mike. Asked me, he messaged me that clip and said, who's he referencing? And I was like, hopefully Devin White. And then I also said, hopefully Byron Leftwich too. But
actually, I wrote an article on who needs to put up or shut up. So Todd Bowles said those are the first two names on my list.
As it should be. As it should be. I mean, those, in my opinion, should be the only two on the list right now.
I put one other because I wanted to have three on there.
Yeah, and that's fair.
I did include. Okay, I'll leave it a mystery. If you want
to read the article,
check it out at Bucs Report.
At Bucs Report, JT Olson, great guy, great writer, nominated for best Bucs writer in Tampa. Go check him out. But yeah, those are definitely the first two on the list. Absolutely.
And it would even be a different conversation almost to a degree if Devin White was this intangible guy, this leader, this heart and soul of the defense. And I think he's a vocal guy and he wants to be that emotional leader. But you can't be that guy when you're consistently leaving your team on the hook for blown coverages. And when you're saying, oh, we were dominating and I got bored, so then we let them back in the game.
Yep.
That's not what a leader does. You have to be the guy who looks at everyone else and says, wake up. We got to close this game out. You can't be the guy that's falling asleep at the wheel. Instead
of getting bored with them, you need to be like, hey, we're getting bored. Wake the F up. Let's go. Let's shut these guys out. Keep it going. Like, you need to be that guy.
And he's not the only immature, 24-year-old on the planet. But when you're looking for a $20 million payday and you're immature and you mess up in coverage and you don't know what your job is half the time, it feels like.
Right now, if you were to ask me, do you want to pay Devin White? I say take that money and pay Antoine Winfield.
Yes, that's the man who needs to be the leader of this defense.
That guy is going to be a superstar. That guy is insane at football. He is so good.
I think he's the only one who can lead this defense right now.
He probably, and him and Levante, I want to say. But
Levante is so lead by example. He's quiet and mannered.
You're right.
I think Antoine Winfield Jr. is the only guy who is that talent, who is that vocal, emotional leader. Because I saw him in the Saints game, and he was the heart and soul, or not the Saints game, the Falcons game. He was the heart and soul in that first half. Every play, he was there. He was getting his guys going. He needs to be that guy all the time.
Yeah, you need to figure out ways to keep. I mean, the secondary is just. It's been good. Like, obviously, like the weak point. A big weak point was the 3rd and long conversions, which is bad. That shouldn't happen. But I feel like I can trust Todd Bowles a little bit more than Byron Leftwich to watch and adjust and then fix. The guy's been through it. He knows how to coach defense. I'm not super worried about that. There were instances of it in the Falcons game also, so I'm hoping it doesn't go for a 3rd straight week. If it does, then I press the panic button. But you're definitely right. I think the combo of Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, and Antoine Winfield, you can't get much better, honestly.
2 things about those 3rd and long conversions.
Go for it.
First and foremost, pass rush. Got to get to the quarterback.
Absolutely, you have to.
I mean, this offensive line, we touched on it last week. This offensive line isn't good.
Yeah, they should.
I don't care who it is. It's Vita Vea, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Shaq Barrett, Logan Hall. Someone's got to get home.
Everyone was disappointing. Everyone.
Yeah. Number 2, I thought Pittsburgh on that last drive with those 3rd and longs, they did a nice job moving Chase Claypool around. It felt like every play he was matched up against someone new and making a good play, whether it's Antoine Winfield in the slot or Carlton Davis or Levante David. He had a really nice sideline catch on him. Part of it is that just one guy making big plays. Part of it is our guys not making the plays they need to make.
And like you're saying, the big plays. I think Chase Claypool had a lot of really good catches over good coverage. Like they were there. They just couldn't get the ball on the ground, which you got to clean up. But yeah, you're right. Definitely.
And in the grand scheme of things, what do they have? 170 passing yards total between the two quarterbacks?
I think so.
Shout out to Garrett Ballard again, by the
know
way. 2 weeks in a row nailing his hot takes.
Oh my gosh.
Kenny Pickett under 100 yards.
Not the way I wanted it to happen, all right.
But he went out in middle third quarter with 67 yards. So he might not got 100 yards anyway.
You're right. Yeah.
So Garrett, if nothing else, we need the winning lottery numbers for this
podcast. Man. Okay, yeah. No, you're right. That was not the way I did think about that, and I was not gonna bring it up. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that is the biggest win the Buccaneers had this week was Garrett getting a hot take.
One positive. Rashad White does still look like a fantastic third down back. I thought he did really well in third and short, and specifically third down that game. So that's a great thing to see.
There was actually one moment where White and Fournette were on the field together, and it made me so excited because I'd love to see, if we're going to be this running team, we need to be a little bit more exotic in what we're doing, less predictable. Sure. So I liked the idea of having them on the field together. I think it was just one play and done, so it's nothing to write home about.
Yep.
But just the idea that, look, Byron did something.
It's just like the simplest form of shifting from 12 to 21 personnel. Like just the simplest little form of switch up. You're like, oh my gosh, something's going to happen. It was so sad. It's so sad.
I was nerding out about it. I was driving home from the zoo, and I think I cussed under my breath, like, holy. And luckily, my kids were asleep in the back seat. It was just like my little private moment of nerding out.
Oh, the one other thing. The switch from Cam Brate to K-Dot needs to happen full-time now. That's 2 concussions, I think, in 3 weeks for Cam Brate. Right? Did he get...
I saw a neck. I didn't see anything about a concussion.
Oh, neck. Okay. Still, that's a lot of upper head, shoulder up injuries for him. I'm a big proponent of anything up there you got to really play safe for. I think Cam Brate has done a lot of great things in his career with the Bucs. I just think his time is running out. And I think K-Dot needs to have a bigger role.
Yeah. After the Atlanta game, and Otten was a revelation in that game. Mm-hmm. I think he had 5 catches for almost 50 yards, which on paper doesn't scream out as holy smokes, this is the playmaker.
Yeah.
But what he did to kind of open things up, that consistency in the middle of the field, that kind of mid-range intermediate passing, that was huge for this offense because that's the difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 2.
Plus his blocking is tremendous. He's been a fantastic blocker for this offense, like on the edge, up on the second level. Like he's done a really, really good job. So,
yeah, and Brate still has a place on this team. He's a red zone target. He's got good hands. He just doesn't have the athleticism or the blocking ability that Otten has. No. And Otten's only going to get better. Rookie tight ends take a little longer to adjust to the league, but the more opportunity he gets, the more improvement we're going to see.
Real quick before we shift to the upcoming game, how did the Bucs? Wait, they scored 1 touchdown, right?
Yeah.
How did they score it? Do you remember? Because I do.
It was a pass to Fournette, I think.
Funny how that works, isn't it? You pass to a running back, and something good happens instead of running it to the same running back. If only some 2 smart people on a certain podcast could have seen this coming. A lot of other people did as well.
And it serves the exact same function that they're trying to accomplish by jamming it down the middle of the defense. The exact same function.
Out there with blockers, with less people trying to block, like trying to get to the guy. It makes no sense, man. Just please, Byron, for once, listen to normal offense. Look how normal offenses run and do that. But yeah, okay. Enough with the Pittsburgh game. It was a train wreck. On to the upcoming week. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm thinking this team.
We are playing the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
I want to preface that. So,
my least favorite team as a kid growing up, hated the Panthers.
Interesting.
They were my version of the Saints. Everyone hates the Saints. I get why. For me growing up, it was the Panthers.
Honestly, I can understand it because me growing up with the Panthers, it was like Steve Smith and Cam Newton eventually. Yes. So I was like, I hate these guys. I was like, they suck.
The worst.
Yeah, I hear you.
Give me 3 Mike Evans touchdowns so he can tie Steve Smith in the all-time record book.
That'd be awesome.
But this Panthers team, particularly on offense, is bad, which was true of the Steelers last week.
Yep.
As bad as they are, I think they're better than the Steelers, but they're more poorly coached. They just fired Matt Rule, who did not do a great job there.
We've talked about plenty.
Yep. And, I think he did the first 2 years the job he was hired to, but he just did not do enough. Steve Wilkes is not a good coach.
Mm-mm.
We saw him as a head coach in Arizona. It was as bad as you'll see typically. I mean, it wasn't Urban Meyer bad, but it was not good at all.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you get fired after 1 year, it's not good. So
the quarterback situation. Baker Mayfield is bad. Sam Darnold is worse.
Yeah, I think
PJ Walker is bottom of the totem pole.
And he's starting.
Correct.
By the way, just for reference, PJ Walker is the third string quarterback on the team. In front of them is Sam Darnold, who's the backup to the statistically worst starting quarterback in the NFL this year. You're talking about the guy 2 steps down from that. Like, this isn't even like a Kenny Pickett, oh, he's a struggling rookie. This is like, okay, if we lose this game, people need to get fired.
It would be very, very concerning.
Yes.
It would be, let's stop talking about Super Bowl. Let's stop talking about playoffs. It's time to focus on the draft.
Honestly, you're not wrong. If we lose to this Panthers team, this is like a team in contention for the first overall pick. Like, have they won a game? No, right?
No, they've won. I think they've won 2.
I think everyone's won a game. They've won 2 games. I think
the Panthers are 2-4. I'll have to look it up.
Every team in the NFL has won a game. I know that.
Panthers are 1-5.
1-5. It's like them and the Bears, bottom barrel of the NFL. That's them. That's those 2 teams right now. We need to beat this team. We need to win this game. This is a must win, in my opinion.
Fun fact: Panthers have the 2nd worst point differential in the NFL this year.
So that also doesn't. That's like basically saying that they have a horrible offense and a terrible defense. Like, that's what that's telling you there. They're giving in a lot of points. They're taking a lot of points in, and they're not scoring.
Yeah. Not so fun fact: the only team worse than the Panthers, Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's brutal. That's brutal. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. A week ago, I would have told you that it doesn't matter what Leftwich calls. It doesn't matter what is done. Bucs can out-talent this team. They proved me wrong last week.
It's crazy. It is crazy. I can't even fathom it, man. It's they need there's not a lot of analysis to be said here because it's pretty much the same as we said last week. Bad offensive line, bad quarterback, secondary. I don't even know, man. Like, they've invested a lot into it, and it's not good still. And their D line has Brian Burns, who is going to be their version of Cam Hayward. But I hope to shut him down because Tristan Wirfs. So.
Yeah, he's not going against a rookie guard. He'll be going against an all-pro and Donovan Smith, who is, if nothing else, solid.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
Honestly, I think there's talent on this Panthers team. They improved their offensive line in the offseason, and they have Christian McCaffrey. So
true.
That is at his best, is one of the best backs in the league. He can catch it. He can run. He can do it all.
If there's going to be a big Devin White week, it's going to be this one because they're going to dump it down to McCaffrey a million times, and he's going to have a bunch of tackles at the line of scrimmage, and everyone's going to forgive him. I already see it happening.
Tell me if you've heard this before. Panthers have a lot of defensive backs who are banged up right now. Their rookie last year, J.C. Horn, limited participation the last 2 days with a rib injury. C.J. Henderson, who was a first-round pick a few years ago, Panthers traded for him. Concussion protocol, limited practice today. Dante Jackson did not participate, ankle injury. So, just like last week, a couple of key members of their secondary injured, may or may not play. Different results.
I'm nervous now, man. Wow, it's like the same game.
It really is.
Like
Except
the same game.
The Panthers are just a little bit better on paper across the board.
Yeah, maybe not right now with PJ Walker and all these DBs potentially hurt, but no, you're right. They probably are, but
yeah, I mean, nothing's going to make up for that Steelers game, but if you can't win this one, going into Baltimore and the Rams.
Bro, if you lose these back-to-back games, truly just throw in the towel. Like, truly just prep for the draft and get C.J. Stroud. Let Tom retire.
Mm-hmm. Because there's no reason to think it'd get better after that unless Leftwich is fired.
Right.
That's the only pathway to success if this doesn't get fixed now.
How about, actually, because this is a bit of a shorter episode so far, because our analysis for the Panthers game is pretty just can't lose. We've hashed it all out. Have you researched any potential offensive coordinator replacements that you have interest in?
You know, I haven't researched it, but I've been thinking about it a little. You know a name that came to mind? Antoine Randall.
Oh.
Former wide receivers coach. He was with us when we won the Super Bowl. Went to Detroit the last 2 years, and he's been their receivers coach there. He's done really well. He's
turned that around.
He's
went from
been the mastermind behind Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is really a Chris Godwin clone, and he's using it like it.
Yeah, he is.
So that's a name I like. Familiar with our team. I think
it is a good one.
He's got continuity with Larry Foote. They played in Pittsburgh together. I think he's a mind I would be interested in.
That's a really good one that I didn't really think of. The other, I have three that I've kind of just popped into my head. One, Joe Brady. I think he was scapegoated in Carolina. Don't think he's really done anything to deserve getting fired from that position. And now he's Buffalo QB coach, right?
I'd have to look it up, but that sounds right.
I think he's Buffalo's QB coach, which is a great stepping stone because you have Josh Allen. They have a great offense in Buffalo. And then three, I honestly forgot his name, but whoever San Francisco's passing game coordinator is. Because that was two. No, that was two. That was the second one. And then three is Mike Kafka, the QB coach in Kansas City.
I like Kafka. Kafka's a name that would be on my radar.
I think it's Kafka. It might be Kafka. I don't know. But
I think it's Kafka. I remember him as a quarterback.
Okay. I think he's my number one if Byron gets the axe, which I'm honestly at this point expecting eventually. I think my list, excluding Randall L, because I do like that shout out, but Kafka, Brady, passing game coordinator from San Francisco.
So passing game coordinator is Bobby Slowick.
That's it. I don't know a lot about him, but I know that it's just like I always love San Francisco's offense. I think with our pieces, specifically like Chris Godwin, and then Rashad White, and then Mike Evans, obviously, would be super, super fun. But he doesn't call plays. I know that. A lot of it is Shanahan that they do over there. So there's always the question of, can he really perform when he's put in charge? So that's why he's three for me.
And that same question would apply to Kafka because, anyone connected to Andy Reid, how much is it them versus Reid, who's a brilliant offensive mind?
You're right.
I'm trying to think, is there a good offensive coach who's a head coach right now but is struggling? Because kind of getting that retread, rebrand, offensive mind. I think that, kind of like Todd Bowles was as a defensive coordinator.
Nathaniel Hackett.
No, he's a hack at everything.
I don't want him.
No, he was a friend of a friend kind of hire.
Literally, that's what it was. I'm trying to think.
Who are the bad teams? Who's going to fire their coach? Cardinals are bad, but
I don't want
think
Cliff. I do
is
not
coming to
want
town.
Kingsbury. No, thank you. Yeah, let's hire a guy who got fired from Texas Tech. Yeah, great thinking, Steve Kine. I like the Randall L shout out.
Not getting Lovey Smith, that's for sure.
No, thank you.
Looking at these bad teams.
Yeah. Chicago, I don't want anyone from Chicago.
No. And the defensive coach, it's their first year. I don't think anyone's getting fired there, but everything in that offense is a mess.
I don't know. What about I don't know who the Eagles coaches are, but I know Sirianni runs their offense, but I don't know who their coaches, position coaches and coordinators are. But I like what their offense is doing a lot of.
I don't think this will happen because I don't think he's getting fired. But who I would really like?
Dan Campbell.
I was going to say Arthur Smith.
Okay.
Falcons do a lot of interesting stuff. They do a lot of motion. They do a lot of, things that I think are really smart that teams should be doing more. That makes them overachieve.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But I don't think Arthur Smith's going anywhere.
Same thing with Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell. I think that guy is amazing. I would want him on as my head coach in a heartbeat, but I don't think, despite the Lions struggling, I pray to God he's not getting fired. That guy's amazing. He's the best.
But if they do clean house, I actually like the Lions offensive coordinator. I think they've done a really good job this year. He wasn't really in Hard Knocks because he seems like he's super bland.
Yeah.
But I think his name's Ben Johnson.
Look, hire Dan Campbell, bring Randall L. Randall L was with the Bucs as a coach, right? For a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won the Super Bowl with us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Bring him back, OC. I'm a fan.
Really? We have nowhere to go but up from here.
Don't say that.
Oh, I'm saying it.
Because it's not true.
This is bottom of the barrel kind of stuff.
Oh, man. I mean, look, you can say that if we lose to the Panthers. Because if we lose back-to-back games to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Carolina Panthers, then we're truly at rock bottom. I see no point of decreasing the season. But
if we win, but we don't crack 20 points, can I still say it?
Yeah, that's fine.
If this is a 13-6
knuckle
dragging.
You can definitely say if the offense still sucks with all the talent we have, yeah, you could say it.
Yep. Burn it down on offense. Keep all the players, just anyone connected to the offense.
Anyone coaching. Bye-bye. I have been wondering, before we close out, I wonder what if Bruce Arians would come back, what would change? And how visible it'd be on the field.
I think if we were going back in time to the beginning of the season, I think he would have brought in Eric Flowers, a veteran guard.
Probably.
I think would definitely be advocating to throw the ball more.
Yep.
Taking more deep shots because Tom Brady's a little bit more protected.
Yep.
I think a lot
would change. You're probably right. But I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Creamsicle Chronicles podcast.
Oh, we didn't do our hot takes.
Oh, we didn't. Go for it. Good call.
That being said, I didn't have any prepared.
Me neither. But...
hot take. The Buccaneers scored double-digit points.
Oh, double-digit. That's
Gosh, I feel so jaded after last week. I'm just, even talking about it, I just can feel my body temperature rising as I get angry.
Yeah. My first hot take. The offense puts up 400 yards. I'm being so hopeful.
That would be a hot take.
No. They put up over 250 yards. There we go.
Still a hot take.
I'm being condescending. I don't care.
That's where we're at right now. I mean, just in the context of how this season has gone, normally this would not be a hot take at all, but I'll say Chris Godwin gets his first touchdown of the year.
That's so upsetting to hear, man.
I know it.
Oh. Okay,
he could easily get 10 touchdowns a year, and it's just... Yeah. But, I mean, he's always a prime target. Brady loves the slot.
Right.
Panthers blow. We should score points. Don't know if we will, but if we do, it's I think it could be Chris Godwin.
All right, number 2. I said I'm going to keep going. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka get 2 sacks until it happens.
I would be really excited if it did, because the Panthers' rookie left tackle, Ickey Ekwonu.
Yeah. Wow.
He's good.
Horrible. Yeah, he is.
Ickey's good.
Yeah, he is.
I haven't watched him a lot in Carolina, but he's more of a powerhouse and kind of had some adjustments to make as a pass blocker. I've seen some of like the PFF stuff, and it looks like he's been playing pretty well as a pass blocker.
That's good. I mean, I don't think it'll be against him. That'll be Shaq. Right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But the whole D line just needs to bounce back from that last game because it was bad. They did nothing. Like, they actually did nothing. All right, give us your third.
That's number 2 for me.
What? I just said Joe Tryon-Shoyinka gets 2 sacks. That was my number 2.
And this is my number 2. I only gave. Yeah, I didn't. Scoring double-digit points was not actually a take.
Wait. What was your take? What was your second take?
This is my second take. I've only given one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Dude, I just went. Okay.
I'm just Chris Godwin touchdown right now.
Okay. I was tripping. Okay, go for it.
Take number 2. Defense scores more touchdowns than the offense. PJ Walker is a starting quarterback. Defense got to do something. They got to step and make those big splash plays that they didn't make last week, and they know it.
Oh, that would break my heart, but also make me so happy at the same time. But okay, number 3 for me. I'm going to say Devin White has a total in some combination of 4 tackles for loss, and then everyone forgives him and says, "You're the best, Devin. Can't wait to sign you to a long contract for a lot of money." And I'm going to lose my mind.
That is the most predictable take.
I'm going to lose my mind.
It's almost like you've been watching this team for the last 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
Third take. Gosh. I want to say I don't think I'm committed to it, but I want to say Bucs get a shutout. But I know the Panthers are going to get that opening drive score of something.
Yeah, just opening drive, and then they lock in. But
so I was like, after the opening drive, Bucs shut them out.
Okay, there you go.
Because I fully believe in this defense. Todd Bowles, Larry Foote, they still have my trust.
Yes. Now,
different story.
If they blow this game, trust is gone. Trust is abandoned. But
it'll be the house is burning down. Everything's ruined.
Dude, I'm like emotionally drained. Like that made me so sad, that entire podcast. I was like, this team could be so good, but they just suck. They are bad right now, man. I'm just like, what the heck's going on? But
they are, and there's no reason they should be. This is not an injury issue. This is not a talent issue.
Yep.
This is not a toxic locker room kind of situation. This is one guy who refuses to use common sense.
Yep.
And Todd Bowles, I don't want this to come off as too harsh because I really like Todd Bowles, but he is in danger of blowing his second chance. If he's going to roll with Leftwich, he's not going to last long, and I would hate to see that.
You are correct. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Okay. That is going to do it for this episode of the Creamsicle Chronicles podcast. JT and I, as always, happy we could record, at least at the beginning. We are looking forward to a potentially good game against the Carolina Panthers this week. Tune in next week, hopefully on Wednesday if school permits for me, normal time. But until then, take care, guys, and go Bucs as always.
I guess go Bucs. It's got to get better than last week.
Oh, I hope.